Okay, so as I talked about in my other video, we have these two sliders here which control global saturation. We have Vibrance and we have saturation. And I bet, you know, a lot of people who are just getting started with raw editing, they probably go, you know, right to saturation and they turn up saturation in order to create more color, in order to, you know, get the image out of, you know, gray land, which it kind of is when you first start editing a raw file. And that can have a positive effect on certain areas of the image, but it can have a negative effect on others because saturation is a blanket adjustment. It doesn't care how saturated a pixel already is. It just cranks the saturation of every single pixel in the image. And this is why Adobe gave us the Vibrance slider. So the Vibrance is very similar to saturation. It has the same effect in that it increases the saturation of the image, but it does so in a slightly more nuanced way. It does so in a slightly more tailored way by focusing its adjustment on the pixels with low to medium levels of saturation, and it purposely ignores the pixels which have high levels of saturation, or at least they are sufficiently saturated and they are in danger of being blown out or clipped if their saturation levels were increased. So if we just go back and forth here, you know, this is with Vibrance added. You can see how it's mostly left this house in the front alone. It's added a little bit of color, but most of the color is happening elsewhere compared to saturation, where everything starts just getting kind of nuts and the house is starting to turn rather fluorescent. Now, the thing that I want to share with you, the thing that I think is really helpful is the following. Because Vibrance targets the areas with low to medium levels of saturation, we can use Vibrance as a guide to visualize for us which areas of the image are more saturated than others and which areas of the image are kind of like slightly dangerous, the ones that we should be keeping an eye on when we're making edits. And we can do that by reducing the Vibrance slider and pushing it rather far down. We can push it down, let's just push it down to like -70, somewhere right around there. And now take a look at the image. These areas with low to medium levels of saturation, it's practically black and white, like they're now gray. Whereas the house, take a look at the house. There's still color in the house. There's still this red on the side here. There's still this blue here. There's still a little bit of red in this bucket on the front of this strange little house. This was taken out in like in the Sierras out in Eastern California. Beautiful area. Just a rather unusual scene here that I took an image of on the side of the road. But a very helpful image. I'm so glad I took this. Very helpful for a video like this. Anyway, so what this is telling me is that the house already has plenty of color. It already has sufficient saturation. I don't need to worry about saturation there. If I want better color elsewhere, I need to be focusing on these other areas of the image. And all it takes is just a little, you know, negative Vibrance in your image in order to see that. And this is a great example of where the color mixer panel could be helpful. Similar to my other video, if I were to increase Vibrance in order to lift all the colors in the image, I could then come down here to color mixer and I could pull the saturation, that increase in saturation out of the oranges. I could do it with the aqua and the blue as well in order to help balance the house with everything else in the image. So, you know, that's where we started originally, and that's with everything leveled out and everything adjusted just a little bit more. Now, of course, we could go nuts here and we can start adding masks and start doing more technical things if we wanted to further protect the house and isolate the house in this example here. But I wanted to make this video because I thought this might help when you're first getting into an image and you're diagnosing it and you're trying to figure out, you know, what your approach should be, like where should you start editing and which areas should you, you know, pay attention to. Add a little bit of negative Vibrance to it and take a look at the colors, and that will help give you a really good sign of what to do next. That's it. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.